I don't agree. I don't agree. A lot of boxing fans saw what happened today. And I don't know, what is your opinion? See, everybody said that. But judges on the side has maybe another eyes.
Sergey, congratulations on the great fight. Ward threw some bolo punches over the second half of the fight, and it seems like you charged it recklessly and you got hit cleanly a lot of times. Did he get in your head at all over the second half with the taunting?
No.
Sergey, I know you feel you won the fight, but there is now officially a loss on your record. How are you kind of processing this emotionally?
You know, like, I'm disappointed, of course, that I got the balls in my record by raw decision. That's it. What I think.
Hi, Kathy and Sergey, and yes, John. During the fight, or even when the fight ended, was there maybe something in your head said they could rob me, I could lose, or did you? Is this really a surprise to you that the decision how it played out?
There he is.
Just during the fight, or even after the fight ended, just was this a surprise to you? Or did you think back in your mind that it could be a robbery, or that they could steal this fight from you?
I thought Sergey was ahead. This is boxing. I've lived through a lot. I was there with Pernell Whitaker when he got robbed. How ironic that we had him in Chavez last night. It happens. We have a difference of opinion. We think Sergey won. You think Sergey won. But Andre Ward won. So we have to honor the new champion. And he will come up here now, and we are going to go and lick our wounds. And thank you all very much for covering this fight as well as you have. Andre Ward, congratulations. Come on up.
One more question.
Hello, everybody. Before Andre speaks, I'd like to just thank a few people here tonight. I'd like to start with our sponsors from tonight's fight, our presenting partner, Corona, Monster Products, Anoli, Jetlux, Zappos, the Jordan brand, and Shoe Palace. Also want to thank Andre's partners, Pro Subs, Lift, Body Armor, Power Hands. In addition to that, and Brand Jordan. In addition to that, I'd like to thank once again Richard Sturr from MGM, Dan Quinn, the general manager of the T-Mobile. All right, we're back on. Sorry about that. as well as Sid Greenfield of MGM as well. I'd like to also thank Peter Nelson, who's in the room tonight, for all your support. Peter Nelson of HBO, as well as Tony Walker, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission for all their support. And finally, I'd like to thank the members, the key members of Team Ward, James Prince, Josh Dubin, and of course, Virgil Hunter. Tonight you saw a classic fight between Andre and Sergey, a terrific battle, a terrific fight, two courageous fighters. I couldn't be more proud of the man sitting next to me, Andre Ward. The journey that he's taken, the challenges that he's overcome, the adversity that he's overcome, you saw a lot of that in the ring tonight. He is now the light heavyweight champion of the world. And again, Andre, congratulations.
Tonight was a great night. See some sad faces out there. I don't know why. There's only fans back there clapping. Maybe it's just me. It was a good night tonight. Obviously the victory, but you know, I would love to win every fight as a shutout. I would love to have every fight take place where, you know, I barely get touched. But you know, you have to win fights like this sometimes. I talk a lot about the greats because I've studied this sport since I've been a kid. I watched a lot of Sugar Ray Leonard for whatever reason leading up to this fight. Tommy Hearns won, Leonard Hearns 2, Roberto Duran 1, Roberto Duran 2. And just the mannerisms, how you approach the big fights, how you dealt with adversity. These are things they had to deal with. So, you know, this is really a notch under my belt. I'm pleased, I'm happy. Of course, again, I would love it to be a shutout and, you know, a dominant performance from the standpoint of the scorecard, but we eked out a tough victory against a guy that a lot of people thought was going to knock me out and stop me. And we did what champions do. We got off the canvas and we got stronger. So I'm happy with the victory tonight.
Straight in the middle, Andre. I've got the microphone, sir. Andre, congratulations on your victory tonight.
Thank you.
We've seen, as you said, you participate in any of your fights that are clean shutouts or completely dominating one-sided fights. Tonight, obviously, that was not the case. Did you feel like this was, in your long career, your toughest fight?
I mean, a knockdown would cause people to suggest that, but I've been in some tough fights. Excuse me?
You've been down before, though, once early in your career.
Very early. So this is my second time being down, and we got it that time too. So, I don't know, I gotta go back and assess it and see. I mean, I've been in some tough fights, regardless of what, you know, it may look like. You know, some of these fights are really, really tough. They look easy. But this was, you know, obviously one of the tougher ones against a great champion. I knew this was gonna be this kind of fight. I didn't expect this to be a blowout. I mean, this guy is 30-0 like I'm 30-0. With 9 or 10 title defenses, he's got 3 belts. That doesn't come overnight. You know, this is a guy who's a road warrior. He's going overseas. He'll go anywhere to fight these champions or defend his championship. So, you know, he's a real fighter, but we showed that, you know, we can eat a big shot and get up. I mean, when he knocked me down, I honestly wasn't hurt. You know, I guess that's what they call a flash knockdown. I just looked up, I was on the canvas, and I smiled. And I said, okay, here we go. Now the fight starts. And I felt like just over the rounds, I slowly broke him down. I felt like he was getting tired. And obviously, he didn't want to be inside. And I tried to keep him there as much as possible, but he's a great champion.
One other thing for you, Andre, in so many of your fights, the way you've won has been enough offense, but, you know, obviously tremendous defense, a lot of movement, you know, boxing skills. It seemed to me that tonight you really bit down and stood and fought him. Was that part of your plan to try to exchange with him at all, or try to get on the inside and maybe avoid the biggest shots?
I mean, it wasn't the ideal plan. I knew that, I mean, you guys know I'm not a runner. You know, I move the ring, I move around the ring and try to, you know, use ring generalship and not have any wasted movements. But after the knockdown, you know, you got to be able to throw the game plan out the window. So we still had a game plan, but Bird did a great job of staying in my ear, telling me he needed every single round. And I looked at him in his eye and I responded, and it just, I don't know, it just caused me to feel like I couldn't leave anything to chance. So that's probably why I was, you know, exchanging more and more flat-footed.
Could you describe describe what happened there in rounds 4 or 5 when things started to turn? What he did, as for you, Bert, rounds 4, 5, 6, when things started to turn, what did you see out of Andre? What was the plan at that point?
Well, earlier, just watching Sergey, he has certain tendencies, and we felt that he would tire down the stretch a little bit and leave himself open for clean shots, and I thought that the clean shots would be the difference. He was aggressive, but I think anybody in here would have to admit that he fought on the back foot more than he's fought against everybody. Andre stood his ground more than anybody, simply was not afraid of him. So when the clean shots started landing, I felt confident each round. He was aggressive, but you have to be effective aggression. And without a doubt, we landed the cleaner punches, but it's sort of keep him in the fight. You know, let him know that he was there, keep showing him different things, keep him off balance, and more than anything, counter him when he tried to counter. And we were successful at that times.
Andre, congratulations on your way to go.
Thank you.
Do you think about what the judges are scoring these rounds as the fight is progressing? Obviously, this fight was decided by 2 judges giving you the 12th round. What was your mindset in those last 3 rounds about where the fight stood, what you needed to do?
I mean, as a fighter, you have a general sense, but you never know, especially in professional boxing. You just never know. Sometimes you see a fight and you think you know who won, and the judge has an 8 points one way and 8 points another way, so you just never know. So I just felt like I needed every round, and that's what Verge kept telling me, and I trust his eye and I trust his instincts, so I didn't question it. I felt like I had to go out there and somewhat dog him every round and just leave no doubt.
Andre, congratulations on the big win. Question. After the knockdown in round 2, did you make any adjustments, or the way rounds 3 through 12 went, was that always you and Virgil's game plan?
Again, I mean, I obviously didn't envision getting off the canvas tonight. But I've been in this sport so long. You know, I've been around this sport so long. You know, I've watched this sport for so many years. These types of things happen. And of course, someone like myself who wins a lot of his fights going away, sometimes you can get spoiled. You know, but I told my wife in the locker room, I said, you know, there's obviously a part of your pride that's damaged and you feel a certain way about it, but man, I got up tonight. I smiled at the guy that was the biggest puncher in the division. I went up and waited to fight for his belt, and then I went and took the fight to him and closed the show. So I'm proud of myself. Well, we talked about that a little earlier. I mean, the urgency probably caused me to step on the gas a little bit more and just, again, feel like I needed every round. So it did change a little bit.
Andre. Obviously we spoke earlier this week just about how the public received you, and I think that the widespread perceptions that a lot of your victories up to this point have been because of your skill. Is there any satisfaction that you gain in kind of being able to show maybe this side of yourself as a fighter?
I mean, I know what I have in me, and I know that sometimes the general perception is not always accurate. And, sometimes you get touted as a, cute boxer or, he's slick, but I know what I have on the inside of me. I know. I've been doing this my whole life. I get hit with big shots all the time. I sparring, in fights. Sometimes you guys don't see it, maybe because I don't react or wobble or something like that. But I've been biting down for all my life. So I know what I have in me. Just sometimes when something like that happens, the masses get a chance to say, okay, maybe he does have heart, maybe he is more than just a boxer. But I've always known what I had.
Just one more. In the first few rounds, it seems like he was able to kind of land his jab a bit. His jab, in the first few rounds, it seems like that was landing quite a bit. Then it kind of seemed like maybe he started ducking a little bit more and maybe taking a step back to avoid it. What is it that you saw that maybe allowed you to kind of find that range?
Oh, man. I don't know, it's just, things are happening so fast in there, it's hard to explain, but obviously when you get hit with a couple good power jabs, you're not in the right position, something's not right. But he comes in the Eastern, European system, They keep their hands in place. They don't have any wasted movements. They shoot right where their hands are. And he's very technically sound. And again, he doesn't waste anything. So I think just feinting a little bit more and making him kind of committed and countering, letting him get ready to load up and take that big leap to throw the big right hand, and then stopping him in the middle of that with a power jab. Just little things like that along the way. I think just got his attention. And then again, just letting him feel it. Like you can feel after you knock the guy down if he's intimidated. You can feel if he's being reluctant, or you can feel if he's got a mentality as if to say, I'm coming to get that back. You can feel it. There's nothing that needs to be said. And I think more than any technical adjustment that I made, he felt it.
Andre, back here in the corner.
Andre, with the electronic urban report, which is eurweb.com, African American News and Entertainment. My question to you is this. First of all, congratulations. You put up a real good fight. There are those in the audience and in the press who believe that you lost. What do you say to those people? And if you should decide to have a rematch, when do you plan to do it?
Well, to the first question, it's a close fight. I can't really argue with, I got to sit down and watch it to really give a clear assessment. He's got fans and supporters. They're not going to agree with the decision. Certain media members aren't going to agree with the decision. It's okay. But I think it's one thing to say a fight was close and I edged it out versus saying that it was a highway robbery, which I think they were up here saying a few minutes before we got up here. And of course, they're going to do that as well. It's part of the game. It comes with the territory. And, I hope they're just gracious about it because I did what I had to do to win. So I really don't have anything specific to say about that.
Andre, right here in the middle. Just, like you said, you obviously would like to, blow them out, won every round, but with it being such a close fight, can you just talk looking forward? What does that do for your career to have a fight like this that was really exciting and people wanted to see again? What does that do for your career in terms of more marketable, getting more eyes on it, more people wanting to be interested in what you're doing?
I think it's good. I always want to give the fans a great show. They're paying a lot of money to come, pay tickets, flights, hotels. Obviously, this is my first pay-per-view, so they had to pay to see this fight. And, from what feedback that I'm getting, people enjoy this, so that makes me really, really happy.
Congratulations. In recent years, as you grow your career, for having maybe a less unexpected pleasing style, and this time you had just a great fight. How much do you think this really helps you, especially in your first fight on pay-per-view?
I could barely hear you like the last part. Sorry.
This fight was so much more exciting than maybe some people expected. How much do you think that helps your stock as you try to rise in the
that's what you guys asked for, so that's what you guys got tonight. It's like Sugar Ray when, he fought Roberto Duran the first time. Obviously that man, Sugar Ray Leonard, had shown heart plenty of times in his career up to that point, but that was the first time that the masses of the media said, oh, he's not just, this cute golden boy, he actually has heart. And it's unfortunate sometimes that you have to get in fights like that to prove that, but it comes with the territory, and it's okay, man. I'm happy. I'm glad the fans enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and maybe that'll put some of the critique to bed about this or about that. So I think it's a bonus. I think it's a plus.
Hi, Andre. Congratulations on a huge win. I just have a question for you about inside fighting. It seems to me that inside fighting these days is a bit of a lost art, even at the top level of the sport. And it also seems to be lost on a lot of viewers. And I'd just love to hear from you about why you think that is.
I don't know why it is, but I'm just thankful that Verge, early in my professional career, he had the foresight to start working on my inside game. I can remember when he first started to introduce me to inside fighting.